I finally understand Yuji Itadori. Yuji is someone who understands the true value of life. He's someone who cares. He's someone who knows what true strength is. For a long time while reading JJK, I had the misconception that Yuji was going to be a character that never would get his quote-unquote moment. You know, the moment every shonen protagonist gets. The moment where we get reminded why he's the main character. And it's not because I just didn't like Yuji or I thought he was weak or anything. It just seemed like everyone else around him was just that much stronger than him. Until recently. And when I say recently, I more so mean before his training with Kusakabe. It just seemed he was too far away from the stronger characters in the story. He couldn't perform reverse curse technique, he didn't know the basics of barriers, and didn't have his own domain expansion. But in reality, that was beside the point. Because Yuji had all along what I think many sorcerers lack. Something that pushed him to become the greatest sorcerer of all time. Endurance. No, not durability. Endurance. Meaning the will to keep fighting despite all the pain and agony. I don't think I would have to argue with anyone on this when I say Yuji is definitely one of the people that suffered the most in JJK. Watched numerous of his friends and colleagues be murdered, as well as blamed himself for the destruction and many casualties that occurred in Shibuya. And despite all that, he got up and kept fighting for what he believed was right. It's something we see in other anime all the time. One of the main ways a character gains true strength is by going through this pain and enduring through it. Whether that be losing a loved one, failing at something, or just carrying a heavy burden. But somehow I keep thinking that Yuji displays the strength the best out of any main character I've seen in a very long time. The last time I got this feeling from a character was more than a decade ago. Naruto, when he defeated Pain and finally confronted Nagato, the man who killed his master, sensei, and many of his comrades. The overflow of hatred that he gave off was felt by everyone. But as much as there was hatred, there was also a quiet underlying feeling of compassion that allowed him to truly grow spiritually and mentally as a character. To try to understand your opponent and to want to grasp why he's doing what he's doing isn't a weakness to me, and it shouldn't be looked at as being weak. It shows strength. To not want to be the same as your opponent, to show mercy even to the most evil entities. The latest chapter of JJK was my favorite chapter I read in quite a minute. It took a break from all the fighting and drama to really dive deep into the parallels of Yuji and Sukuna. All inside Yuji's domain expansion, something we've been waiting for a very long time. Its abilities and domain rules unexplained, but one thing we can see is the difference between Yuji and Sukuna. The small things that Yuji enjoys, like drinking hot milk tea in the winter, fishing for crayfish. The things that Sukuna would think is stupid or unimportant is actually the things that give a human life value. This is something that Yuji was trying to show Sukuna. A person who could never accept love, never felt a connection such as love towards anything, claiming it to be worthless. Those feelings have always been nothing more but a word to him. As a hated child who never felt the same as Yuji felt towards anything, he truly became the opposite of Yuji. There's a reason it seems Yuji constantly irks Sukuna to the soul. Whatever he does, he can't get rid of Yuji. He just keeps coming back like a cockroach. And every time it just makes him even more angry, wanting to destroy him and see him in that destroyed state. It would have Sukuna feel accomplished. It would have gave him reassurance. Reassurance that his way of life is superior. The reason I say Yuji is the greatest is because of how he surpassed Sukuna, the king of all curses, but not in the way you think. It's true that Yuji has grown exponentially in strength the last 30 chapters or so, but he's grown even more in his mentality and how he approaches enemies like Sukuna. Nobody ever challenged Sukuna the way Yuji has. Not in strength like everyone else has and eventually lost. He challenged his ideologies. He challenged his own ego. Let's think of this like how Obito was trying to crush Naruto's beliefs to further reassure himself that his way of thinking was superior. The fact that Naruto kept getting back up and fighting was what really unsettled Obito. To think a boy, who he had thought to have no value, stand up to him and give him a challenge is what really made Sukuna angry. Constantly throughout their fight, you could see Sukuna visibly angry with Yuji. It's almost like a spit in the face. The fear that this boy could possibly match or even surpass him is what Sukuna truly feared. The psychological games he played with Sukuna is what put Yuji in the driver's seat for this fight. So in this way, you can say this is what makes Yuji more of a threat than guys like Gojo or Yuta. In chapter 265, Yuji told Sukuna that he can indeed kill him right now if he wanted to, outright claiming that he surpassed Sukuna. The way this angered him is because Sukuna feels it. He knows there's a chance Yuji caught up to him too. He says he'll slaughter each human being he claims to be oh so valuable. Why would he want to do this instead of just killing Yuji right then and there? It's because he wants to not only destroy Yuji, but destroy his ideologies as well. Sukuna wants to prove that Yuji's way of thinking is inferior to his own, and in that way, Yuji already won the fight. Yuji knows what he's fighting for. He's locked in his way of thinking, up until the point where he's showing compassion for Sukuna. It's like Yuji is treating Sukuna like he treated everyone all these years, to have been looked down upon for the very first time in his life. So now the only thing Sukuna is going to be fighting for is himself, and only himself, to repair his fractured ego that Yuji tore apart. And that simply won't win him this fight. He can't beat Yuji, who carries the stronger ideology, to fight for a bigger cause, to fight for your friends and family. That's what made Yuji strong, and that's what's going to keep making him stronger. Stronger than any foe he ever faced and will face in the future. Fighting for others will always, and I mean always, be better than fighting for oneself. And that's just how I believe Yuji already surpassed someone like Sukuna and became the greatest sorcerer to ever do it. I know this video was a bit short. It's my first JJK video, and this is just something I wanted to talk about with y'all. Honestly, I don't know how people will interpret this video, but it really doesn't matter to me. As long as I get my point across, I'll live with any feedback. It was fun to make this one, so if you also enjoyed and want to see more videos like this in the near future, then drop a quick like to show y'all like these type of videos. And also don't forget to comment and subscribe as well. I know the ending of JJK is still up in the air as of right now, so let me know how you think the series will end. Will it end on the side of the sorcerers, or do you think Sukuna will reign supreme once again despite all odds? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And until my next one, I'm out. Peace.